Well, folks, a pretty decent win for the Canucks, honestly. A game where they didn't look fantastic, but they found a way to win. And for a team that, we're sort of past the moral victories phase, and we talked a little bit about moral victories after the Rangers game because that one was deserving of a moral victory, especially being a scheduled loss, and they did win a point at the very least. This is one where they kind of got outplayed, especially at 5-on-5, and we'll go to the analytics in a little bit, and I'll talk about why or how the Canucks got outplayed at 5-on-5, and then they really turned it around in special teams. Now, 4-on-4 doesn't really count as special teams, but that was a big difference maker. So, as always, we're going to recap the game as it went down. I'll go over my pluses, my minuses. We'll keep it a little tight today because I got to get out of here pretty quick. So, let's get started. First period, a very early penalty shot. The Preds came in on a bit of a 3-on-1. Tyler Myers sort of pinched to two of the guys, and the third guy skated past him. They played it through to him. And then Myers got beat, took him down, penalty shot for Foudy, and Foudy falls and then gets up and misses the net. So just an embarrassing penalty shot, for Foudy. Connor Garland has a chance on a wide open play where he's in all by himself and hits the post, but then Quinn Hughes gets it started, as he seems to continue to do. Quinn Hughes has been so impressive this season. I feel like I've talked about it so many times, especially doing this and doing Canucks After Dark and doing Game Over Vancouver. And I just feel like I keep talking about Quinn Hughes, and it's so deserved. Quinn Hughes shot from the point. It hits Kevin Lankinen. It pops up in the air. It just sort of gets a little piece of Sam Lafferty's bucket, and it falls in. It's his second of the year. Beauvillier gets his second point of the year, which is good for him because he needs to produce because he hasn't so far. So either way, pretty good on Sam Lafferty's part to open the scoring. Nashville answers pretty quick, about 2.5 minutes later. Colton Sisson just sort of sneaks in. It has a wide open net. The pass comes across from the faceoff dot. A nice move in by Yossi, and puck just goes to Sisson's wide open net to tie it at 1. And what really sucked is 30 seconds later, the Canucks just couldn't figure it out. They come back in the Preds come back into the Canucks zone. The Canucks just look sloppy. They cannot find the puck. They are not filling up lanes. They're not pressuring guys on the puck. They look like they were on the penalty kill. And then a point shot from Fabro just slides through everybody, slides under Demko, which is not something you want to see from Thatcher Demko. A little bit scary, but hey, 2 goals on 25 shots is how the game ends up for Demko. So all in all, a 920. We'll take that any night of the week. But that one, he should have stopped, right? Lots of bodies in front though. So that's essentially the first. JT Miller then goes to the penalty box for a hook, gets the stick under the arm, right? Stick comes up behind the guy under the arm. And what does Philip Forsberg do? He squeezes, right? He squeezes, gives a little tug, and it's something that happens all the time. Is it a hook? Yeah, you can't put your stick there. Is it holding the stick? Also, yeah, you can't chicken wing it. They only call Miller for the 2. Miller does not like it. He does not like that Forsberg held his stick because he thought it was just a stick lift that missed. So the refs give him an extra 2 for unsportsmanlike conduct. Concerning, right? Canucks down a goal and are now on a 4-minute kill for the double minor. This was a fantastic penalty kill for the Vancouver Canucks. There was nothing, absolutely nothing created for the Nashville Predators on that power play. And then the Canucks negate it. Pius Suter draws a hooking penalty with 1:35 left in the power play. So we go to 4-on-4, which carries over into the second period. Elias Pettersson, less than a minute in. Canucks go in a little 3-on-2 rush. Hughes drops it back to Pettersson. Quick shot. Lankinen just can't squeeze it. A little bit handcuffed. Got through him. So we're tied at 2. And the Canucks are, feeling okay. The first period, even on paper, even though analytically maybe not. But hey, tied at 2, brand new ball game. Then JT Miller gets a high sticking penalty. When did this one happen? It was pretty late in the period, if I remember correctly. It was, with about 6 minutes to go. He takes a high sticking penalty on Roman Yossi. He got cross-checked. Got mad, turned around, cross-checked Yossi back, but gave him one of these cross-checks. And when you have any upward momentum, if you catch the guy's arms, your stick will just slide right up and right into the chin. So he got a high sticking penalty. Don't love that. What was interesting, though, he got benched after that. He didn't see the ice after that for the rest of the second period, which I think is very interesting from talking. We'll talk about that in my plus section. Decent kill. for the Canucks, but they just had some bad clears. They couldn't get the puck out of the zone. And then they draw another penalty. So it was after the Miller penalty had ended. He basically comes out of the box, goes to the bench, doesn't get back up. And then Kuzmenko draws a penalty. Ian Cole draws a penalty. It's interference on Carrier. On the delayed penalty, Andrei Kuzmenko goes the other way. Nice little spin move to create some space. The rebound goes right to Elias Pettersson. This is one we've seen a million times before to Elias Pettersson, where he just looks up and it's like, oh, he's scoring here every time. He didn't. Lankinen made a really good save. So the Canucks go to the power play from that delayed penalty. And then I really love this play from Elias Pettersson. He's on the top of the faceoff circle where he likes to take the 1-2 from. Hasn't done it a lot over the last year, but it is still scary. It is still dangerous. He can put 100 miles an hour on that, no problem. He loads it up and then fakes it. And what that does is it draws the goalie over to the post, it draws the defenseman over to the post, and it draws Brock Besser screening over to that near post. Everyone's on that near post. Pettersson takes a half step in and fires it at the far post where there's just this little sliver to shoot at. A perfect shot from Elias Pettersson. It's his second of the night, and the Canucks have the lead again. It's a 3-2 lead. Shout out to Brock Besser on this, though. Like, that screen was textbook. Absolutely textbook screen from Brock Besser, which we love to see. So, Canucks have the lead going into the third period. They're getting outshot by 2, but it's pretty even at this point. So we go to the third, and the Canucks actually have a really good start to this period. They have a lot of pressure going on in the offensive zone, and then Niels Höglander gets called for interference in front. Probably wouldn't have been called if it wasn't right as Quinn Hughes had a great scoring chance. His shot got stopped. Höglander gets called for the penalty. This power play lasted 8 seconds for the Nashville Predators because Philip Forsberg got called for one of the weakest interference penalties I've ever seen. He sort of reaches and does a little hook on the blade of Miller's stick. Like, it's blade on blade contact. We're not talking about much. But Miller drops his stick, which, I don't know, maybe just didn't have a handle on, maybe switching hands, and it just came out of his hands, and they called it. So we go to 4-on-4, and the Canucks capitalize again on another 4-on-4. This time it's JT Miller, who was just benched to end the second period, who just drew this penalty, comes out after being benched, draws the penalty, goes out and scores. It is a Brock Besser shot from the point. Lankinen makes the save, and it just falls sort of behind him. And then you see Miller reach for it, puts his stick right on top of the puck. No, it's not going to do much. And then Lankinen turns around and spears the puck into his own net. Thank you, Mr. Lankinen. We'll take it. Canucks have a 4-2 lead. And then, honestly, score effects maybe taking hold here. Canucks with a 2-goal lead with 16 to play. The Preds had all the pressure after that for a good while. But the best chance really comes from Dakota Joshua. Joshua gets a bit of a partial break. He can't score. Thatcher Demko during this stretch here was absolutely electric. What a bounce back after that second goal that he allowed that he probably didn't love. He was perfect after that, and he was just making plays when he needed to make plays. And then, game continues. Preds pull the goalie. Elias Pettersson's on the ice. He's got 2 already. Beauvillier finds him. Beauvillier gets his 3rd point of the year. Bravo, Anthony Beauvillier. And Elias Pettersson gets his 15th point of the year with the hat trick goal. Skates it all the way into the empty net. Remember 2 games ago when he missed the empty net, or he hit the post and then he missed the empty net? No. He skated it all the way to the red line, across the goal line, and in. So a hat trick for Elias Pettersson. He's up to 5 goals, 15 points total on the season, which we love to see. Let's get into pluses and minuses, and we'll talk a little bit analytically, but I do got to wrap up pretty quick here. Pluses. Elias Pettersson is the only player in the NHL right now. Keep in mind, the Canucks have played 9 games. He has 6 multi-point games. He has 2 or more points in 6 games so far this season, which is the most in the league. He's just playing so good. Contract year, by the way. He is going to get paid because he might win an award or 2 this year, especially if this is the playoff team and Elias Pettersson's got 110 points and he's second in the league. Here it is from David Amber. NHL scoring leaders. Jack Hughes has 18. Elias Pettersson has 16. He's right on his tail for not only the scoring lead, but if this is a team that ends up in the top 3 in the Pacific, there might be MVP talks. Selke talks at least. I mean, Pettersson has been so good. Quinn Hughes, again, I keep talking about Quinn Hughes. He gets another 3 assists tonight. He is out there for the first 2, like, this is my minus. I'm going to jump to minuses and we'll jump back to this Quinn Hughes thing. Hughes and Hronek, for the first time all year, were on the ice for a 5-on-5 goal against. Hasn't happened yet this year. It's game 9, by the way. But it happened twice. Those 2 goals in 30 seconds, Hughes and Hronek were both out for, which really sucks. It kills that stat. But how does Quinn Hughes respond? Well, he just puts up 3 points. Like, no big deal. He goes out there, he gets the job done. He ends up as a +1 on the night. So, no harm, no foul. Just so good. And there was one play that didn't even matter late in the third where he picked off a pass into the Canucks zone. He picks it off, and then he's supposed to set, and he sends it up to Höglander and Pettersson, but Höglander had just come out of the box, so him and Pettersson sort of collide, and none of them get the breakaway pass. That should have been a 2-on-0, and Hughes created that all by himself. And that's one thing that'll it'll get overlooked from this game because it didn't result in anything. Another big plus for me is Rick Tocchet. We've been talking quite a bit about Rick Tocchet lately because this team looks a lot different. They have an actual identity under Rick Tocchet. And a big part of that, I think, you look at what he did with JT Miller, right? And it was clear that JT Miller was getting hot. He was getting a little hot this game. He takes the penalties, the hook, and then the unsportsmanlike, and then he comes out and he's getting feisty. He's cross-checking back. He's throwing the body a little harder, and you can tell that there's frustration in that. Nothing against throwing the body a little harder and things like that, but he was frustrated. He was clearly frustrated. So what does Rick Tocchet do? Miller comes out of the penalty box, and Rick Tocchet says, all right, you're on the door. You're on door duty. You're opening the door for the boys. And what I really respect out of JT Miller from this is the way he responded. Because some guys will get told, hey, you're not doing what we need you to do. You need to relax, and you need to play your game, right? You are hurting us right now, so I'm sitting you on the bench for the rest of the second period. Some guys won't react well to that. Some guys will get mopey. They'll get frustrated. They'll get more frustrated, and it won't help them. What does JT Miller do? He goes, he sits at the gate. He opens the gate for the boys. He's getting involved in the plays. Like, you can see him being vocal on the bench. That speaks so much for JT Miller and his character and his work ethic that I loved. So very, very good from JT Miller. And he bounces back. What happens? He goes out. He draws the penalty that gets the Canucks back to 4-on-4. And then he gets the goal that gives them a 2-goal lead to start the third period, the insurance goal. Fantastic. Absolutely great game from JT Miller. Loved it, especially after that point. Only other minuses for this one. The D zone was scrambly today. It hasn't been so far this season. They've been pretty good defensively, and they only allowed 29 shots. And, if we pull up the analytical side of things, we go to, at all situations, maybe some high danger chances. 18 for the Preds tonight compared to 11 for the Canucks in all situations. Corsi, 58-45 in favor of the Preds. Expected goals, a little bit better, 52.8% for the Predators compared to 47.2 for the Canucks. But, the first 2 periods were 65 and 65%. The Preds dominated the first 2 periods in all situations. The big thing for the Canucks, though, is if you look at 5-on-5, we're now on 5-on-5. The Canucks got shelled at 5-on-5, 32% to 67.6%. So 2/3 of all expected goals went the Preds' way. If this game was played entirely at 5-on-5 and the goaltending was equal, on average, the Preds would have scored 3.2 goals. The Canucks would score 1.5. So the Preds would win this game most of the time. However, you change it from 5-on-5 to even strength. You might think those are the same thing. It only adds about 4 minutes of playtime, and that is 4-on-4. Suddenly, those expected goals basically even, 48.7 to 51.24. The Canucks absolutely dominated at 4-on-4 tonight. Those penalties that were drawn while the Canucks were shorthanded were absolutely critical for the Canucks this game, and a big reason why they had that, why they were in that game at all, right? So very, very good from the Canucks on 4-on-4 to essentially win this game for the team. And of course, why not? Hey, let's give a shout out to Thatcher Demko, who was fantastic as always. except for that one goal. Again, 2 goals on 29 shots. Can't complain about that at any point. Also, big plus to the jerseys. Jerseys looked fresh and clean, as always. Folks, we're on the road to 4,000 subscribers. We're close. We're like 100 and something away. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Something like 60% of you watching are not subscribed. It tells me that. I can look at it. It says you're not subscribed. Hit the button. It doesn't cost you anything. It's probably even glowing right now. It's a weird feature it does. It's pretty cool. So hit that button. Hit the like button. Leave a comment with your thoughts on the game, folks. It's fun to interact with you guys afterwards. I am cooked because I have been sick for the last week, so I'm going to go get some rest. I will see you guys on Thursday. Canucks and Sharks on Thursday. An absolute must-win game. The Canucks are now 6-2-1. 6-2-1, second place in the Pacific. Not only that, second place in the division when you just look at points, and they're like 4th or 5th, I think 5th in the entire NHL. We love to see it. We love to see it. Come along for the ride. Make sure you're subscribed, hit like, do all that good stuff. See you guys Thursday. Have a good night.